Hello, rich ones. Welcome to our space. My name is Christine Ishampepe, the money mechanic, and I help you fix your finances. I am on a mission to equip Africa's younger population with adequate financial literacy, advice, and strategy so they can journey to financial freedom and live life purposefully on their own terms and to the fullest because money is no more a barrier. I want you to live your best life. The Hot Money Talks podcast is a series of honest, open, and transparent money conversations that will guide you on your journey to financial freedom. Here on the podcast, we believe 100% that financial freedom is possible with the right set of knowledge, the right amount of time, and the right circle of people. On today's episode, we will be talking about how to build a solid foundation for our finances. Now, foundations are very important, especially when it comes to your finances. You do not build a house from up down, right? But from ground up. And therefore, the foundation of a house is a great determinant of how well the house stands and how well or how long the house perseveres over the course of time. So the question now is, how do we build a solid foundation for our finances? And today I would like to share with you 9 different ways through which you can build a solid foundation for your finances. The very first way is to know your net worth. Now, this is very important because it enables you to ascertain the state of your finances and how to move forward from there. Now, what is your net worth? Your net worth is simply a calculation of your assets and your liabilities. Now, your assets are the things of value, the things that add money to your pocket, simply put, while your liabilities are things that you owe, things that take away money from your pocket, your debts. Right now, in order to be able to calculate your net worth, you add up your assets, of course, in monetary value, right? You get a figure, and then you also add up your liabilities, if any. Then you minus your liabilities from your assets, and then it gives you your net worth. So it shows you what you're really worth, how much value you have as a person, okay? Monetary value. Now, whatever it is, whether you have an asset that is not money, so say for instance you have a piece of land, right? When you're calculating your net worth, you would have to in other words, liquidate it, if I may put it in that way. Find the monetary value of that land and then use the figure, right? So the first thing is to know your net worth. Now, I would always tell the story that when the turning point for me when it came to my finances was when I did the net worth exercise after reading a chapter in the Smart Money Woman, the book, and she encourages us to calculate our net worth. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's do this thing. Let's try this calculation. And then I try it, and guys, I end up in premium tears. In fact, I did not cry. I wept because that day was the day I really realized and found out how much debt I was in, and that was my wake-up call, right? So one thing with knowing your net worth is the fact that it enables you to really, really ascertain the state of your finances, like your financial health. You're really, really able to ascertain it when you know your net worth. So my challenge to you today is know your net worth today. All right. The second way we can build a solid foundation for our finances is to get knowledge. Be financially literate. Read books. Listen to podcasts like the Hot Money Talks podcast. Watch, videos. Join communities where you can learn about your finances. Of course, do your research, and also attend classes that can help you learn about your finances. So for example, I am hosting a virtual class, a 3-day virtual class coming up between the 1st and 3rd of November 2023, and in that class we will be digging deep into personal finance, right? And if you think you need this class and you'd like to be a part of it, you can definitely send me an email or just check any of my social media handles, and you definitely see information about that class. But yes, back to the point at hand. Get knowledge. The truth is, you can't level up your finances without knowledge. Make nobody lie for you. Like, you need knowledge to be able to level up your finances. It is so important to get knowledge. They say knowledge is power. I do not disagree. But most importantly, when you get the knowledge, you gotta apply it, right? Put it into practice. That's when it becomes very valuable to you. So, get knowledge. Make sure that you are really pumping in time and resources to getting knowledge about your finances. A third point, identify and acknowledge your money problems. In fact, for me, this should even be the first thing you should do. And why is this important? Because when you identify and acknowledge your money problems, you are able to fix what is broken. Now, remember on a few episodes ago on the podcast, I spoke about how you cannot fix what you don't think is broken, right? I said that instead of saying you can't fix what's broken, you must think that something is broken for you to be able to fix it. You get my point, right? So when it comes to your finances, many of us are living in denial, right? We don't think we have a money problem. We don't think we have a spending problem. We don't think we have an income problem. We just think that it's our village people who don't like us, and so our money just never ever stays in our hand. That's in many situations is actually not true. Many times we have a money problem, right? And like for me, I use myself as an example again. During the period when I was really trying to figure out my finances, I had to come to the point where I acknowledged that I had a spending problem. I was a compulsive spender, right? And acknowledging that really freed me and enabled me to now get the right knowledge to help me level up my finances. So to identify and acknowledge your money problems is highly important. Then the next point is set financial goals in every aspect of your life. Saving goals, goals to pay up debt, investment goals, set goals. Very important. Financial goals give you something to look forward to, right? So you're working towards something. So I always give this example where I say, at the beginning of the year, everybody's making year resolutions, and you hear people say things like, oh, so this year I really want to save, or this year I'm going to save. Nope, that is not a goal in itself. When you say things like before the end of December, or by the end of December, or in the next 12 months, or in the next 6 months, I want to save X amount of money, and this is how I'm going to do it. Now that is a goal, right? So set financial goals, very important. Gives you what to work towards. Then next, have backup. Be ready for emergencies by having an emergency fund. Some people call it a rainy day fund. I call it an emergency fund. Now, this emergency fund usually is to contain at least 3 to 6 months of your living expenses saved up for the rainy days, for emergencies. And this emergency fund is supposed to step in when you have an emergency, a life emergency, or you lose your primary source of income. The idea is that for at least 3 to 6 months after that happens, you can still take care of yourself, until you find your footing again. So don't joke with your emergency fund. I speak from experience. It really saves the day, because nobody knows when an emergency is going to happen, right? And we need to be ready for it. And the only way we can be ready is when we actually store money aside in an emergency fund or a rainy day fund. Now, our sixth way to build a solid foundation for finances is to create a routine for your financial habits. So, for example, you can decide to save a particular amount of money weekly, or read a chapter of a financial book daily. Create a routine. It is often said that if you want to master a habit, you need to engage in that habit for 21 days, right? So create a routine. What this routine helps you do is build consistency, most importantly, right? And you are now able to build up on the progress you are making with your finances. So what routine do you need to create for your financial habits? So for me, this final quarter of 2023, one routine I have added to my other list of routines for my financial habits is having a money date, right? And I think I should do a podcast on my money dates, right? So this money dates, I do it once a week, and during my money dates, I sit with my finances, like sit with it and really say, okay, this is where I'm at. I look through my money book, I look through my progress, I make adjustments, I remind myself of my financial goals. Basically, it's just me and my money. We have time together. So this has become now a part of my routine for my financial habits. Then another way to build a solid foundation is to have an accountability system and or / track your progress. Now this is helpful if you want to be intentional about your financial growth. That's just it. You can't do this, you can't go on this journey alone. Let me just put it that way. Accountability is really, really important. So I cast my mind back to September when I did a 50k challenge with a couple of people. So the idea was we're going to save 50,000 naira in 30 days. And so I came up with like a template. So on certain days we saved, some days 1.5, some days 3,000, some days 500 naira, some days 2,000, that kind of thing. And I agreed to keep this set of people accountable. And I was so happy that even as much as it was tough for a number of people, because they had someone keeping them accountable, because we used to do it in such a way that every morning I reminded everybody of the goal, and then in the evening we all came online and did roll call. Right, this was me keeping them accountable. And if I felt like, or I noticed that someone was not keeping up with the challenge, I reached out to the person. I called the person out, like, what's up? What's going on? Why aren't you meeting up with your saving goal? And all of that. Now, accountability really, really helps you become intentional about your financial growth, because now someone is looking over your shoulder, someone is prompting you, someone is, just having your back, somebody is cheering you on and helping you track your progress. Then pick up healthy money habits. This is our 8th way to build a solid foundation. Pick up healthy money habits. So it's not enough to just deal with all of the money struggles you're having, but to be able to sustain your decision to work towards financial freedom, to get your money right, you need to pick up healthy money habits. So such habits you should be picking up are saving, budgeting, dealing with debts, increasing your ability to earn, and of course investing. So basically maximizing all the functions of money: to make money, spend money, keep money, and multiply money. So pick up healthy money habits. So what healthy money habits are you lacking? So for some people, saving is not their problem, except they don't budget before they spend their money. For other people, they struggle with debt a lot, and we're talking about bad debt. Right? So it's not as if they don't have a source of income. They have income coming in, but somehow they find themselves in debt, or they are compulsive spenders. So you need to have a wholesome approach to your finances, and you can only do that by picking up healthy money habits. Okay, so the 9th and final way to build a solid foundation for your finances is to take action. Take action. Now, having a positive mindset is great, but mindsets don't come to reality without work. So you must be ready to put in the work, to take action. Take action. Take action. That's just my final challenge to you today. If you've been gaining all this knowledge, listening to my podcasts, and all of that, and your finances are not changing, then that means you haven't been taking action. You need to take action, and you will see before your eyes. You will see your finances level up and change for the better. All right, thank you for listening to today's episode. If you found value today, please share the link to this episode with your circle, and remember that new episodes of the Hot Money Talks podcast drop every Saturday, and you can listen to them on your favorite podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Do well to follow the show on either of these platforms so that you are notified whenever an episode is released. Now, recommendations are powerful, so please tell your friends and your family about this podcast so we can go on this journey together. To connect with me on other platforms, do well to follow The Money Mechanic at The Money Mechanic page on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I hope most importantly that you will take action on your finances today. Sending you love, light, and a sprinkle of money in between.